Hello everyone, it's Foo here, and it's time for a Dipplin video. When Dipplin was first revealed, I made a video about how I was really excited for this Pokemon. I think that it could be really impactful. So, obviously, it had to be one of the first Pokemon that I built a team around, and oh boy, do I have a fun and crazy team for you all today. First off, I thought it would be good to just go over whether Dipplin meets my expectations, and it's kind of disappointing in some aspects, but then it's absolutely amazing in aspects that we could never have predicted. So when I first saw its stats, I was kind of disappointed. Like, nothing really stands out. It's not the bulkiest Pokemon. It's got a usable special attack stat, but it certainly isn't hitting super hard. Its speed stat is slow, and I think that that's good because it means that any stats that could have gone into its speed have gone elsewhere, so it's bulkier for it, which is decent. But it's got this kind of dead attack stat that could have been a lot lower so that you could boost its special defense more or something, whatever. So its stats look mediocre until you find out that this Pokemon can actually benefit from the Eviolite item. Now, only Pokemon that can evolve can hold this item, but Dipplin doesn't have an evolution yet, as far as we know. So that probably means that in the next DLC, we will see Dipplin evolve. And that means that Dipplin's going to get massive defense boosts from the Eviolite item. So looking at those stats again, this is super bulky for a Pokemon that can hold the Eviolite. So that's actually really nice for a support Pokemon to be so bulky. In terms of its main selling points, it's got that super sweet syrup ability, which drops both opponents' evasion on switching. This is a slight disappointment because the ability only activates once per battle. So the first time Dipplin comes in, it will activate, and then if you switch it out and switch it back in, it won't activate again. So that's a slight disappointment, but still, it's a really interesting effect, and it was something that I definitely wanted to build around. The other main selling point for Dipplin is its interesting Syrup Bomb signature attack. It's a grass-type move that does some damage, and then applies this effect on the target, where its speed stat will drop by one stage at the end of each turn for 3 turns, which is a really interesting speed control method. So definitely wanted to incorporate that on my team building too. In terms of the rest of its move pool, Dipplin does have Pollen Puff, which is really nice for a bulky support Pokemon. You can heal up your ally, which is just great. It also has Recover, so it can keep itself healthy too. But there's not really too much outside of that. It's got some damaging moves like Draco Meteor and Leaf Storm, but I wanted a more defensive support Pokemon. It's got Infestation, which could be an interesting option for some damage over time and locking the opponent in once you've got that Syrup Bomb effect, or if you want to keep that evasion drop, Infestation can help there. I just went with Protect. I would have loved to have seen this Pokemon get Leech Seed because it really would have been able to just stick on the field forever and wear opponents down with Leech Seed. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And also, we don't see anything like Sleep Powder, which would have benefited from the evasion drop that it gives. But I wasn't really expecting that. It's not really a powdery Pokemon, and neither Appleton nor Flapple got Sleep Powder. So that's by the by. Anyways, that's Dipplin. I knew how I wanted to use it, so this is the team that I put together. We have the very bulky Eviolite support Dipplin. We have Hisuian Lilligant with the Hustle ability that boosts its power at the cost of accuracy, and also Sleep Powder, all of which benefit from an evasion drop on the opponent. We then have Trick Room Bronzong with a very spicy weakness policy gyro ball set that you will see in one of the matches I'm going to show you. I added Iron Hands for fake out support and also side Volt Switch into Terra Water Bronzong to activate the weakness policy. Then I thought that actually hitting some Hydro Pumps with Iron Bundle would be a novelty, so I added that. And also Hisuian Arcanine for type synergy, and because hitting head smashes with no recoil is very fun. I'm now going to take you into some battles to show you how it works, and it's super fun. So in this first match, I thought I'd show off the Hisuian Lilligant combination against this team my opponent's bringing that has some of the newly added threats. Mainly Ursaluna. Blood Moon Ursaluna is pretty terrifying. It's an extremely strong and very bulky special attacker. And they've also got a Milotic on there that was reintroduced in this DLC too. So those are two interesting Pokemon to add. And then they've got some conventional stuff like Iron Hands and Amoonguss, and then some lesser seen stuff like Ceruledge and Hydreigon too. So let's get into this battle. The opponent's going to lead with their Ursaluna and Hydreigon, which is pretty terrifying. These two both are powerhouses, so I was a bit concerned about how this turn 1 would go. But I get my Super Sweet Syrup evasion drops on both opponents, and both opponents are weak to close combat. So Hisui and Lilligant is in a decent position. It does also outspeed both opponents. And I can go for a close combat into the Ursaluna and one-hit KO it because of the Hustle boost. Without the Hustle boost, that close combat is not a one-hit KO into Ursaluna. So I'm guessing that the opponent thought that I was probably Chlorophyll or something, and that they would be able to survive, but that is not the case. And Lilligant is here to claim some heads. Now Dipplin goes for the Syrup Bomb into Hydreigon after Hydreigon set up the Tailwind, because I can start racking up some speed drops, and after 2 speed drops, my Lilligant will outspeed Hydreigon again. The opponent sends in Ceruledge now, and I'm going to go for a Protect with Lilligant just to keep it safe this turn so that Hydreigon can get another speed drop, and I can guarantee to outspeed the following turn and get some powerful attacks off. Fortunately, Ceruledge goes for an attack into that Protect, so nothing for the opponent there. They actually set up a Reflect, which is slightly worrying because I am relying on physical damage at the moment. As I get a Syrup Bomb off into Ceruledge, hopefully at -1, even with the Tailwind, my Hisui and Lilligant will outspeed. But we see here that it's actually got the clear amulet, so its speed is not going to drop, and it will outspeed my Lilligant the following turn to get that Bitter Blade off and take it down to its Focus Sash. But because Hydreigon is slower, I can still get off my close combat into the Hydreigon. It hasn't terrestrialized or anything, but they do have the Reflect now. But thanks to that Hustle boost, again, I'm able to one-hit KO that Hydreigon even through the Reflect. Because Hustle, Hisui, and Lilligant is just so strong, and that evasion drop is doing so much work right now. I go for a Pollen Puff because I just wasn't sure if it would take out the Hydreigon, so that was actually targeted into the Hydreigon, but it does. Hydreigon goes down, which is really, really nice. The Syrup Bomb effect still plays with the Ceruledge despite the Clear Amulet still working, so that's pretty interesting to note. Anyway, I'm going for a Protect with my Lilligant on this turn because it's the last turn of Tailwind, so I might be able to wear this Tailwind out and then get an attack off again once Ceruledge is again slower than Lilligant. Ice Beam comes out from Milotic, and you can just see the power of that Eviolite working for Dipplin. Dipplin takes nothing from, well, it takes some damage from a quad weak move, but I do have the Recover, so I can take that my health all the way back up, and Dipplin is looking healthy again, despite having taken an Ice Beam, which is pretty fantastic. Now the Tailwind peters out. I was hoping to go for the Leaf Blade into Milotic. Unfortunately, Ceruledge does actually have Shadow Sneak, so my Lilligant is going to go down. I think that the Leaf Blade would have done a ton of damage into Milotic if it hit, because Milotic doesn't have an evasion drop. Yeah, I don't get that off. I go for the Protect with the Dipplin though, so it can remain healthy while I bring in my next Pokemon, which is going to be the Hisuian Arcanine, which is definitely threatened by the Milotic. I'm going to Protect this turn because they've still got the Reflect up, and if I can Protect past the Reflect, then my Arcanine will be doing more damage basically. So yeah, I'm safe behind the Protect as the opponent actually goes for a Will-O-Wisp into the Dipplin, just to get some chip damage over time, I'm assuming, because I'm not doing any attack damage, so it's not really going to work by crippling my damage output. I'm not really doing any kind of damage at all. That's the problem with this Dipplin. It has like no attack or special attack. I've reduced its special attack to 0 IVs because I wanted to self-proc my Bronzong's weakness policy. You'll see that in a following match. Anyway, now we can terrestrialize my Hisuian Arcanine into the Grass type because I'm worried about taking that Scald, and I'm just going to go for a Head Smash into Ceruledge, hoping and praying that I'm able to hit, because Ceruledge does not have an evasion drop. So that's where Dipplin's ability only activating once per battle is kind of annoying. I could have been switching in and switching back out and then getting that evasion drop on Ceruledge to get the Head Smash. You do have to be careful though, because Milotic has competitive, and if you drop its evasion, it will get a special attack boost. So you need to be careful about that. You can see here Dipplin just doing its job amazingly as a support Pokemon, healing up Arcanine even though it's taken that Ice Beam damage. Dipplin is going to be doing such good work here. The opponent is going to go... I do miss the head smash there. You can see it's an inaccurate move, and this is why most people don't run it very frequently. The Ice Beam does come in, but I'm able to heal that up again. So this is where like the opponent really needs to find an answer to Dipplin, or else they will never be able to damage my Arcanine. But we've seen that the Ice Beam doesn't do too much damage into Dipplin either. So I'll go for a head smash here. You can see it does tons of damage. I am a Life Orb Arcanine, so this is an extremely strong attack. Super, super high base power stab with the Life Orb. Unfortunately, Ice Beam takes out Dipplin here, but that's because it's a crit. So that's really annoying. Dipplin goes down, but it's fine. I've got my Bronzong in the back. Bronzong isn't really going to be doing very much here because Milotic doesn't take much damage from really any of its moves. I miss another head smash. So annoying. So annoying. I was worried about going for Flare Blitz or Extreme Speed here because I wasn't sure it would take out the Milotic, and if it recovered, I would have been so annoyed, and I would have been in a pretty bad position. But fortunately, they don't go for the recover. I get the Psychic off, and Extreme Speed can take that Milotic out. So that was a really fun battle, demonstrating the utility of having the evasion drops, which can support your Pokemon going for some more inaccurate moves that are a bit higher power. So that's a really fun way to use the Super Sweet Syrup ability. And also it demonstrated Syrup Bomb for speed control, being able to drop Hydreigon's speed so that even under Tailwind, my Lilligant could outspeed it. And then also it demonstrated the Pollen Puff power and the recover and the bulk. So all of that was very well demonstrated. Dipplin did a lovely job in that battle. But we can move on to another battle, which is pretty hilarious, and I can't wait to show you guys this one. So this is Dipplin against a very hard Trick Room team. Like, they're not even trying to disguise that they have any other options. This is a hard Trick Room team. They'll always try to set up Trick Room. So I'm going to go my Bronzong and Dipplin into this team, and we can see how that goes. My opponent's got a really funky hat. I love that. As they're going to lead Hatterene and Dusclops, which has newly been added. And I love the Dusclops textures and the glowy eye. I think he looks better than ever. So now we get the Super Sweet Syrup ability activation, and it does work on Hatterene. It can't be bounced back because it's an ability, not a move, which is pretty neat. So they've got their evasiveness dropped, and I can actually go for a Hypnosis with my Bronzong. I actually side target Syrup Bomb into Bronzong this turn because I want to get those speed drops going. At the moment, Bronzong is actually faster than both Dusclops and Hatterene. It's base 33 speed, Hatterene is base 29, and Dusclops is base 20. So I'm faster than them, but after one Syrup Bomb speed drop, Bronzong will be the slowest thing on the field, so it will move first in Trick Room. I do manage to hit my Hypnosis. It's not guaranteed even with the evasiveness drop, but I do manage to get that off on Dusclops. As I go for a Gyro Ball here, which does decent damage into Hatterene, but it's not a super high base power move at the moment because I'm only just slightly slower than Hatterene. It is a 2-hit KO though, which is really nice. As Hatterene actually sets up Trick Room, maybe the opponent didn't realize how slow Bronzong would be after one speed drop, but it's actually going to be the slowest thing on the field. So once Trick Room is up, I actually outspeed Hatterene, can take it out. Dusclops wakes up first turn, which is kind of annoying, but it's whatever, as the opponent's able to get some chip damage on my Bronzong. I should have really side targeted that Pollen Puff, but yeah, Dipplin didn't have much to do that turn. I get another speed drop on my Bronzong, so it's definitely going to be the slowest thing, and at the moment, the power of my Gyro Ball is increasing and increasing. Now here you can see that Hypnosis into Dusclops is not 100% accurate, even with the evasiveness drop, because I do miss. But I'm able to get a Pollen Puff into the Bronzong slot. As the opponent goes for a Dazzling Gleam, really doesn't do any damage. And because the Dusclops hasn't moved yet, we know it's reversing the Trick Room, because it should have moved before both Indeedee and Dipplin. But this turn is where the fun begins, because I'm able to Terrastallize my Bronzong, and I can side target the Syrup Bomb into Bronzong to activate its weakness policy. This is because the opponent has put themselves in a very passive position. They don't have much firepower at the moment. So that self-target does do quite a bit of damage, even though this is minimum special attack Dipplin. But what's really funny is they go for a pain split on this turn when I've just side-targeted and ended up with lower HP than their Dusclops, so they heal me up a little bit. So that was pretty funny. As I get the Trick Room up again, and another speed drop. So I've reset the speed drops as well with the Syrup Bomb. Now, Indeedee wants to be the center of attention, but I think it might want to rethink that decision because this Trick Room Indeedee just got one hit KO'd by a Gyro Ball Bronzong, which I absolutely love. Because of all the speed drops, I have a max power Gyro Ball into that Indeedee, and because of the +2 attack, it one hit KOs, which is just fantastic. I get to Pollen Puff as well, even once I've side activated its weakness policy, I can heal Bronzong up with the Pollen Puff too, so that's all really fun and great synergy. And now I'm very worried about the Armarouge. Armarouge is a very powerful Pokemon. It goes for the Expanding Force. Fortunately, Bronzong is able to survive. That's like a Twisted Spoon boosted, Psychic Terrain boosted Expanding Force, so it does tons and tons of damage. But I'm able to get the Pollen Puff off before the Nightshade comes out, so I'm still above half health with my Bronzong, and this Gyro Ball almost one-hit KOs Armarouge. Even if that is a minimum speed Armarouge, this is a max power Gyro Ball. A Trick Room Armarouge almost got one-hit KO'd by Gyro Ball. This is so funny. It's actually a roll to KO. I'm not sure why they went for the Terror there, because it didn't really help them out against the Gyro Ball. But it really helped me out because it means that this Armarouge is much more easy to revenge now. The opponent sets up the Trick Room again, so they twist the dimensions as I bring in my Arcanine next. Fortunately, the Psychic Terrain disappears because I do have Extreme Speed and Fake Out, so those are both ways to try to take out this Armarouge. Here I think I just go for a Head Smash into the Dusclops when I really probably should have just taken out the Armarouge with Extreme Speed or something, but they get that powerful Energy Ball off, but I'm able to survive, and I do go for the Head Smash into Dusclops to get some damage on it. I was slightly worried because Dusclops, I didn't have I didn't have any super effective damage into it, and it's usually extremely bulky, so I wanted to get a big hit into it, and I can go for the Fake Out to take out the Armarouge, which is really good. Now it's just Dusclops, which can get a really fat Pain Split off into my Iron Hands and do really, really good recovery for itself, which sucks a little bit, as I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz with my Arcanine. After this Life Orb hit, I'm like just in range of Nightshade. I'm literally 50 HP exactly, which sucks because Nightshade will take me out. I'm going to go for Protect this turn because it's still Trick Room is up. I want to wear it out if I can. So one Protect as I go for a Wild Charge, and now this Dusclops is very low. If it goes for a Pain Split, I do need to double target it though, so that's why I don't try for a double protect with Arcanine. I just wanted to get some damage into it. So I go for the Wild Charge, and I think I go for the Flare Blitz when I should really just be clicking Head Smash actually, because Dusclops still has that evasion drop from right at the beginning of the battle with the Super Sweet Syrup. So Head Smash is more powerful and I could have been doing more damage that way. Regardless, that was a very, very fun battle. I did not expect to be sweeping through a Trick Room team with Gyro Ball. You just don't, it's just not something that you see. So that's demonstrating the very silly Bronzong tech. I appreciate it's very gimmicky because I don't have Mental Herb or anything like that. So getting Trick Room up isn't guaranteed and you need to play around that very carefully, but when it works, it's super fun, and it's just a way to show off some of the interesting utility that Dipplin has that other Pokemon really don't have, because that was the main point of this team, trying to show off Dipplin to the best that I could, and I think that it achieves that. Let me know your thoughts on Dipplin in the comment section below, and if you have any ideas for some fun teams to try out, then again, I'm all up for suggestions, just let me know in the comment section. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want more Teal Mask DLC content. All that's left to be said is I've been Foo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.